Good morning, good evening, everyone. So tonight is the part 22 of our Age of Brilliance series with Manu Marielle. And tonight, Manu is going to do part 2. She's going to share with us her download for part 2, The Portal of Embodiment. You are the brilliance. This week, we're continuing our deep dive into the portal of embodiment. In this sacred session, we're going to discover what embodiment truly is. We're going to continue that conversation. We're going to learn why fleeting aha moments fade without it. We're going to anchor the 12 embodiment anchors to live brilliance every day, and activate practices to integrate brilliance into our bodies, breath, choices, and presence. It's not about chasing light. It's about becoming the light and being the light. Step into embodiment where you are the brilliance. And Manu, you're ready?
Thank you, Sarah.
Thank
Looking
you.
forward to this session. So let's begin by just a quick recap on what is embodiment. Embodiment is when truth, wisdom, and brilliance move from being a concept you understand to becoming the life that you live. It's a shift from talking about brilliance to actually being brilliance in your tone, in your presence, in your choices. It is a deep anchoring of energy into matter. So your body, heart, mind, and spirit become aligned, attuned transmitters of brilliance. And we are looking at the 12 anchors of embodiment. Each anchor really anchors embodiment, right? And it is whole and complete in itself. And I'm taking you through the 12 anchors because, life takes its turns. And maybe one anchor that might have been brilliant for you at one point might not actually serve. So there are other anchors that you can tap into and go into. Each anchor is a stabilizer that holds you steady in this ocean of brilliance. And together, they ensure that embodiment is not lost under any circumstances, and it grows stronger every single day. So we have covered the anchor of presence because brilliance only exists in the now, and presence is in the now. We've covered the anchor of alignment. Misalignment fractures embodiment. Alignment is what unites mind, body, and soul. We've also covered the anchor of breath. Breath is that bridge between the invisible and visible, spirit and body. And now we are going to anchor number 4. Anchor number 4 is choice. We are born with 3 things, as many of you have heard me share. We are born with choice. Choice is the modus operandi of being a human on this planet. We are always choosing, even if we choose to make no choice. As a soul being, a soul being is only about presence and nothing else. The human form is the expression of that soul being, and its expression and the facets and renditions of that expression are driven by choice. Now, why is choice important in the context of embodiment? Because embodiment thrives when you act from choice, not from compulsion. When you go into compulsion, and compulsion doesn't have to be it could be as simple as, I have to do this. This is expected of me. I need to. Well, this is the way things should be at this point. No, this should not be this way. They are all compulsion statements. You're immediately giving your power away to whatever it is that you believe is the reason why you're doing something, as opposed to choosing because you choose. So embodiment, the moment you give yourself into compulsion, then you start getting disconnected from your body, and therefore embodiment starts to fizzle away. I mean, I did an interesting experience last week, right? Because I was so taken by this whole experience of embodiment, If we can embody enlightenment, which is what I have been on the quest of and still working through this. And now I've started teaching others also to embody enlightenment. It brings you stillness. Stillness is a direct consequence of choosing to embody enlightenment. You immediately become still. You become a very keen observer, very engaged observer of all that is. You can be an observer and allow your mind to go berserk with judgments, thoughts, analysis. All of that really results in paralysis sometimes, not always, sometimes, or hyperactivity. Both of those are not necessarily what your body is asking for. So it was like, okay, I talk about be clear about your intentions. So I thought, okay, if I can take on an intention and embody that intention as if it is already realized, really embody it. What would that look like? And I used the first 3 anchors and worked on a few others with it as well. So, my intention is to co-create a flourishing world. And in that flourishing world, expecting and accepting miracles are the norm. Now, we've had a few, tension or heavy days the last few days, not just me, but just on the planet, because so much that doesn't serve us is leaving the planet right now. So it can sometimes cross our paths and bring us down with it. So I thought, okay, if that is my intention, to create an anchor myself as the creator of this flourishing world, not in an ego sort of way, but really imbuing the vibe of the creator, and proactively, allow for collaborators and co-creators to show up. And I embody this flourishing world. What would that look like? And I do it as a matter of choice, not from compulsion. Because it's really important, even if it's a really positive thing, make sure that you're not giving in to compulsion, which is that I have to do this. This is what my life is about. I can't feel this. I can't actually bring negativity in. The one thing that happens when you embody something is you really do step into flow. So, something pretty magical happened yesterday. So yesterday, I was going to, I had grandma duty in terms of picking the kids up from school and then being with them. And I have a friend who was visiting me from Bali for a couple of days. And then there was another friend who I had met, and I'm going on long bouts of travel from um, you know, and next week onwards. So there's lots that had to be fitted in these 2 days. So I was like, okay, this friend of mine from Bali has taken Dubai as a route so that she could spend 2 days with me. She asked me about this, and at that point, the grandma duty didn't exist because the kids were going to be at school. That's what I thought. But something occurred, in which case I was the one who, stepped forward and said, okay, fine, I'll deal with it. And I had told my friend that it's okay, you just come over to my son's place and we'll hang out over there with the kids. Kids are quite comfortable playing around themselves. But when we do get together, we really do go into do some serious and quite uplifting, very expansive spiritual work, which you can't do when you have kids running around. And there's a great deal of joy, and we'll enjoy that. So yesterday morning, I get a message from my daughter-in-law saying, "Oh, actually, we had forgotten that this is half-term week, so the kids don't have to go to school. And will you be too disappointed if I say yes to these 2 play dates that have come up? Which means, you can do your usual walk in the morning, meet the kids, and then they'll be busy for the rest of the day." And I was like, "Okay, yeah, that's fine," which is me embodying this experience of flourishing all the way. And so it was amazing that occurred. So it was like, fine, I don't need to now rush from any meetings. I had an amazing breakfast meeting. I took my friend from Bali with me to breakfast and met another friend who I recently came into contact with. Um, and she's very deeply spiritual. And it was wonderful for the three of us to be having breakfast together. And there was now I didn't need to rush. Before that breakfast would have lasted an hour and that would be it. Now I didn't need to rush. So it turned out that she's actually a very accomplished tarot card reader. And she, in the middle of the breakfast, she says, well, here's my deck of cards, just choose one, and each of us chose one. And it was amazing how it was poetry, what each one of us got. My card, I think it was probably for the first time, it was the banker's card, with all with lots of money and North Star, and it was like pretty phenomenal that was there. Which is like, just keep doing what you do, have no stress or worry around money. And it was like a forward-looking card. They were the cards that came. So it was quite magical to experience that, okay, this is interesting. Then we order a cab to go to another place that we wanted to go visit. The cab arrives. The number of the cab is 4444. This is the master number which says thousands of angels surround you. That's what the meaning of 4444 is. And just as I'm looking at this cab, like, wow, this is phenomenal that we've got a cab which has got this amazing master number. My friend from Bali, she's opened, 2 spas, and she's always checking, the feedback from customers. And she says to me, well, just have a look at this latest feedback that we've had. And when she shows it to me, the feedback number is 3,333. So this person is, the 3,333rd person giving testimonial on a spa. Now that is a master number in itself, which says ascended masters are with you. And it was amazingly, amazingly miraculous. Then we go to this super busy place in Dubai, because this is Diwali time, and Diwali time, you always buy either gold or silver and stuff. And we decided to buy some silver. So we go to this particular place, and they don't really have what we are looking for. Didn't really want any, I don't really wear silver jewelry. I just have this one thing that I wear all the time. And sometimes I wear pearls. But I just wanted like a little brick type thing of silver. they didn't have that. You had to go to a Brilliant to get it. And they guided us somewhere. So we're like, trekking along. And I suddenly hear my name. Um, and in the meantime, my friend goes on GPT, finds a place where we can get it, which is not in that market. We therefore had to get a cab to go to another place. And I hear my name. I turn around, and it is my sister with her driver and the car. She says, "Oh, we were just about to take off, and the driver saw you. Where are you going? Can we drop you there?" It was amazing. The moment we just got rid of this compulsion part, you know, and we just went from choice, it literally was expecting and accepting miracles became our norm. And we were just talking that, wow, how much better can it get? That's the next question to ask, and give it over to the universe as a matter of choice. We go to where we wanted to go to, we get our billion, and that's great. And then she wanted to buy an iPad as a gift for her aunt. Where she was traveling to. So we go off to the Apple store, and it was full. Apple store was full, which meant that even to purchase anything, you had to take an appointment. One of the Apple geniuses just came to us and said, "I don't know why, but I was drawn to you. Is there anything that I can help you with?" "Well, we want to buy an iPad." Now, we were starting the celebrations of Diwali from yesterday, last evening itself. So there was a long travel, which basically meant if we left the Dubai Mall half an hour later, it would have taken us an hour or an hour and a half to get to our destination, which meant that I would have had to change beyond meditation and all of that. This genius comes in, delivers the iPad. In 10 minutes, we are out. We get into a cab, and we are at the destination, which meant that I could do this amazingly potent session that we did last night. And literally, it was amazing. Just one thing started leading to another. What I saw was, because I was embodying this flourishing world and allowing myself to really give over to the divine to orchestrate the next step next, the perfect coincidences and synchronicities were starting to happen. And that actually meant that embodiment was thriving within me. So my friend and I, we were talking about like, well, this is amazing. It's just we're like gliding through, what else could happen? Well, what could happen is we just suddenly run into an investor who's desperate to invest in the work that she's doing. And we see that we might even have $2 million coming into it. I mean, it was so far-fetched. It was like at this point we are, I've done about to get into beyond meditation. We are about to start the celebration of Diwali together. So we just laughed about it, right? And the few close family and very close friends we'd invited to it. Finish the beyond meditation. I go in there, and one of the people that was there says that that he's really keen to talk to me because my friend from Bali explained about her spas, and he says, "I want us to do this. I want to be a part of this. I want to be an investor in it." And she keeps saying that she doesn't need any money in Bali, but she doesn't, because the spa itself is generating a very healthy amount of money. So how can I become involved in this? What can we do about it? I mean, clearly the spa in Bali can be can be packaged as a franchise and can actually become a franchise business. So, but that all will take time and attention and energy, and will require investment and stuff. And so he says, "Well, I can actually set aside $2 million towards, if this is something that you are willing to support, make happen." Now, we may or may not do it, but it was interesting that this happened. Now, he wasn't even thinking of coming somewhere and having this kind of a conversation, but he was really shocked at how much progress she had made with her spa in literally a matter of 2 or 3 months, because she was in Dubai about 3 months ago. And it was amazing. It was simply amazing. Now, Diwali is a time where that the food is all kinds of foods are there, and it's got flavors, it's got fragrances, a variety of things. And at the moment I'm like following a very particular regime, so it's not always easy for me to find my type of food in situations like this. And my niece comes up to me and she says, "This is what I've ordered for you. Are you okay with it?" It was exactly what I would normally eat. So what I saw was, we are intentional, all of us here, because all of you that are coming here, you've been a part of this journey for a while. So each of you do operate from intention, but we don't make the choice of allowing our higher self, that is always plugged into our guides and guardian angels and the universe, to lead the way. We don't embody that intention. And that's why we are not able to just trust and give over our choice. Somewhere or the other, this compulsion of, I can't possibly do this right now. I have to do this or I have to do that. I saw for real that embodiment was thriving from my act of choice to embody this flourishing world, not just have it as an intention for some time in the future. Who does it impact? This anchor choice, it empowers you. And it also empowers everyone your choice touches. Carrying on with this story. So I said to my friend, okay, there you go, right? We said it would be amazing, if we got an offer of $2 million as an investment. Now we do. And you don't want to expand in Bali, what shall we do about this? She said, well, we could actually do it in Dubai. For sure, we could do it in Dubai. We've done a lot of research on this. But she says, my only hesitation is there has to be someone on the ground that's actually managing everything. I certainly don't want to be managing anything at this point, right? And I totally get what her spa is about. So then I said, well, okay, let's just look at if anything was possible, who would you have here? Who would you trust to manage it? She says, oh, it'll be somebody like Natalie. Natalie is this French woman who I've also met. She moved from France. She's a perfumer, and she was in hospitality, focusing on, hold your breath. I have operationalizing spas and wellness centers for 5-star hotels. That was her forte. And then perfumery is her passion, and she's really gone into that in a big way. I said, okay, that sounds interesting. Just check with her, you know. We don't need to make any commitment or anything. We can easily say, here we are just playing a game about an intention that we put out. And lo and behold, everything that we said would be a measurable outcome from that intention, since today is a day of miracles, is showing up. Send her a message, see if she's up for considering if we did something like this in Dubai. We get a message back. Natalie says, oh, I've just landed this morning from Egypt. I am in Dubai. And I had really decided I'm in love with Dubai. I want to move here. And yeah, this sounds really interesting. Are you available to join us for dinner and, opening up of Diwali celebration? She says, yes, sure, I'll come. Now, this is like, we couldn't even have imagined this. We became empowered to just say, okay, we'll just take that next step next. Remember, very powerful is take the next step next. So easy to get carried away. Now, fortunately for me, this particular friend anchors in reality. She doesn't sit on visions. She's much more about, okay, so what is required to make it happen. And sure enough, Natalie came over, and I mean, it was by that time the people had come around and celebrations had begun, and Natalie is here until the 1st of November. And she said that she had been to this particular place where she has her team that is making her perfumes. And she saw this particular place and felt this is where Hessa should be located, which is the name of the spa of my friend. Independently, yeah, this is nothing at all to do with after our conversation. So today we'll go and see the place. Whatever comes of it, it's pretty amazing how things occur when you embody your intention. The moment you embody your intention, it empowers you. And everyone that is touched by your choice, directly or indirectly. How can you integrate embodiment through choice? The most important way of integrating embodiment through choice is to really put a stop to reacting. If you feel that compulsion to react, pause and choose consciously in that moment. The experience you're going to have is you will feel liberation. You will look intentional, and you will sound empowered. A simple test that you can do, from time to time. If there's something that feels a little bit yucky within you, just ask, did I choose this? Was I pulled into this by habit? Was I pulled into this because I thought I had to? All of those. Habit, because you have to. Habit is great. As long as you're not feeling you have to, you need to. That's where it becomes compulsion. The danger here is defaulting to old patterns where you give your choice away to environments around you. Like literally just this one anchor, starting my day with, okay, I'm really going to utilize this anchor of embodiment. Magic unfolded, one after the other. So how do you guard yourself against this danger where you default to old patterns? You declare your choice daily. Declare your choice daily. I declared yesterday, I embody this flourishing world where expecting and accepting miracles are the norm. And so it is. Let the show begin. And I just shared what occurred throughout the day. Now, the other interesting thing, which is really important in part of what occurred yesterday, was everybody got together and yeah, they started playing cards. I'm not at this point, I don't really engage in gambling and stuff. It's good fun to be there and see everyone enjoy it. But I wasn't necessarily going to play the cards. And at a particular point, it was like, okay, I feel complete. Um, I don't eat late at night, so I had already had I had my dinner. Um, and everybody, just when everyone started having their dinner, I felt it was time for me. I was complete. It was time for me to leave. Then they just had a little bout of card playing, and then they were going to continue playing till late into the night. And my guidance was, done with it, time to go. And I just shared that don't make it mean anything personal, but I feel it's time to go. I have an early morning 4 a.m. start. And it was all cool. So I come home and get ready and just go to bed. And I just slept all the way through until 3:30 this morning, which is when I woke up. That concluded this beautiful, expecting and accepting miracles as the norm experience. I took nearly half an hour talking about this because it is such an important one and so easy to do, given that choosing is the modus operandi of being human. Sarah, anything you want to share or ask or say, or anyone else, this is the time to engage with that.
I listening to you share about embodiment, what's coming up for me is how could we like really tangibly feel whether we're embodying the intention or embodying whatever it is we want to embody. Because I'm trying to go back in the history of my life and remember, when did I feel like I was embodying whatever it was that I was intending? Of course, it wouldn't have been conscious in those days. Now it is, but I find it challenging to embody my intention. I struggle with that, I feel. So I wanted to ask you whatever you can offer to ground that for us.
Yeah. So your main question is, how do we know that we are embodying our intention? Yeah. So how do you know that you're embodying your intention? You think about your intention and feel into your body. Is there an unequivocal flow of yumminess? You're embodied. If there's any form of yuckiness, you've not embodied it.
No. What do you do then?
Well, so first, this is the diagnosis.
Okay.
Right? Now, what you have to look at is, okay, if you don't feel that unequivocal flow of yumminess in your body, you've not embodied, that means, then you really engage with, where in your body are you feeling this yuckiness? Because what we're looking to diagnose next is this an undertone or is this a full-on, anxiety, right? So the next thing you look at is, where in your body am I feeling this? And wherever it is, you just breathe into that part, and as you're breathing in, breathe in love, kindness, and compassion into that part. And breathe out gratitude and peace. And just be with it. See if it actually dissipates. Sometimes it just will dissipate.
Mm.
Other times it will not dissipate. It will reduce, but it will not dissipate. You will come back to your center, but there will still be that yuckiness somewhere. Okay. Now, what that is a symptom of is fear, false expectations appearing real.
Mm.
Then you look at, okay, what are my false expectations that I have made real attached to this? Then you follow the fear to freedom, which I talk about both in my flow book as well as Unstoppable. So until that false expectations that are appearing real are released, fear will continue to be there. Embodiment will not occur, right? You still can continue operating from the context of your intention. So you will be in the container of your intention whilst you're processing the fear to freedom. I won't go through that now, but
Right.
most of you who would have downloaded those books, you can go to those chapters and work through those if you uncover that fear is what is there.
So Manu, just to repeat again, which two books?
Flow has it, and Unstoppable also has it.
Okay. Thank you.
Flow is it's written for leaders. So the fear to freedom is much more elaborate and unstoppable. It is for young adults. So it is quite like short and crisp and, very action oriented.
Okay. Thank you.
That's how you would work through this.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you for asking. It's an important question, especially in the context of choice.
Okay, we're all clear. I don't see anything else coming up in the chat yet.
Okay. Anchor number 5. Anchor number 5 is, what else could it be after choice? It is dignity. So dignity is also something we are born with as a human. And dignity is honoring of your own worthiness. So, and why is that important? Because dignity anchors self-worth. And the moment you honor your own worthiness, you start honoring it in others and you start honoring it on whatever is occurring on the planet as well. Right? So it honors all beings the moment you honor your own dignity. So if you feel there's something wrong with you, if you feel not particularly happy with someone else, or if you feel that there's stuff going on around you that you're totally not happy with, just come back to come back and reclaim your own dignity. And from that perspective, look outside of you. Who does it impact? It impacts all relationships. It impacts the trust that we have. If you get anchored in trust, you put a stake in the ground that is connected to your intention. If you're not anchored in trust, then you can be very prone to reaction and becoming ungrounded. It also impacts social dynamics of all kinds. It has a direct impact on our environment. How can you integrate this? Speak, act as if each being is sacred. What given that what I talk about here is, honor your worthiness. When you honor your worthiness, you start honoring that in others. We brush our teeth in the morning, and often it is in front of a mirror. You finish brushing your teeth and just look at the mirror and, declare 5 things that you believe are worthy about you. Will take you less than 30 seconds, maybe even just 10 seconds. And the moment you do that, when I cross the threshold from my bathroom into the house after having acknowledged 5 things that are worthy about me, from that point on, my lens with which I look at the world and everyone is coming from their worthiness. I start honoring it in them. This whole thing about, put on your oxygen mask first, as they tell us on flights, it is literally a phrase, an idiom, if you like, for all of us to use in how we choose to live our life. Honor your own dignity, you automatically start honoring it in others. How does this experience feel like? It feels noble. It looks respectful. And it sounds deeply uplifting. From time to time, check in with yourself. My actions up to this point in time today, have they affirmed dignity? And this is where, by the way, there was a group of people that I happened to be with, and they were talking about someone else in in sort of a ridiculing way, you know. And I was there, and it, me being preachy about it really wasn't going to land. But I also under my watch, this is happening, and some of the people have done some deep work with me. And so there was some action that was warranted from me, not one of preaching to them. So really all I said was, look, if so many of you feel this way, why don't we actually call this person, and just share what we feel? Because, the fact that you are all talking about him with in such emphatic terms means there is a lot of care as well. Otherwise, we would all be indifferent to this person. So the very fact that we care, then let's not talk amongst ourselves, because we care enough to give our time together on this person. Why don't we just call this person, and invite him to join us and see if he's open to us sharing how we feel. I mean, they were like, what? But actually, what they got was the penny dropped for most of them when they realized, oh, yeah, actually, you're right. We must care. Otherwise, we wouldn't be talking so much. That care must be there. We're not dismissive of him, you know. We are not, we're not trusting of him, or we are expressing our upset and then become feeling like a little bit of a camaraderie around it. But that's ridiculous. We care enough. So let's just really focus on care. So one of them actually did call this person, who came and joined us quite late in the evening. And it was actually the person who had started the mouthing off of that distrust and discord with this person, asked this person if they could actually meet one-on-one the next day. And she whispered to me that she felt that she was the one that had got the whole thing rolling in this direction, and so that must be something about within her. So rather than involve everybody else, she should just do a one-on-one clearing with this person. And that's what she was doing. So that it came from, the action coming from dignity, me honoring my own worthiness. From that space, I'm honoring it in everyone else, including the people that were diving into deeper and deeper engagement of gossip behind somebody's back. So I was honoring them, but I was also honoring the person that they were directing it at. Without being preachy, it became quite an interesting revelation. And then there was this whole conversation that emerged, which is, wow, opposite of love is not hate, it is indifference. So if we can have strong emotions, even if they are negative ones about anyone, do we still love that person? Well, there's at least care. Even if you don't love that person, the care is there. You care enough to have a strong opinion. So do something about it. Come from dignity. In this anchor, all the tests that I'm sharing with you are stuff that don't require a big sit down with your journal process. It's just stuff that you can integrate very easily. Now, the danger that destroys this anchor, it's like acid on metal. It'll completely, instantly corrode it and then disintegrate it, is shame and blaming and belittling. Shame, blame, belittling is the acid that will corrode it. And when it corrodes it, it corrodes your connection to your own worthiness. Not worth it. Absolutely not worth it. If you're belittling anyone else, you are corroding your connection to your worthiness. Your worthiness never goes away. You're born with it. You yourself can engage in self-destruction by shame and belittling and blaming. How can you guard yourself against it? Honoring my worthiness is non-negotiable. I have zero tolerance of, demeaning myself. Who am I to do that? I am a soul being. What's not worthy about a soul being? This soul being, as it's having a human experience, can engage in stuff that might be fracturing. And okay, something has to be done about that. But it's non-negotiable. Dishonoring my own worthiness, no, or even not seeing it. So this honoring of my own worthiness, self-respect practices, create your own, whatever they are. Have them be such that they are completely integrated. Sarah, anything you want to add or share here?
Yeah, Manu, will you share with us just a few of your own self-respect practices, please?
This thing, this I can share, and I have some very elaborate ones as well, but a very simple one. In the morning, brush your teeth, just say 5 things that are worthy about you.
Okay.
Okay, that's a really great one. I also integrate this honoring my own worthiness. The more specific I make it, so I always combine it with the miracle lens, and I say, okay, I'm turning that miracle lens into me. I do it usually at night, you know?
Mm.
And what's just worthy about me is I slide into this amazing dream state where I will be one with my soul presence and one with my guides and guardian angels. Now, there is no have to, must do there. Do it because it's so yummy. Now, I've started another practice that I have is, um, I've started counting my steps, right? So when you're going for a walk and you're just by yourself, sometimes the only way for me to make up my steps is go on a treadmill for 20 minutes or half an hour or so. So I just make it such a yummy experience by having that 20 minutes really going over everything that I find worthy about me. Worthy is different. It's not a narcissistic, I am, God thing. It's very deep. It's respectful.
Okay.
Now, what do I respect about myself? So I really look forward to it. I have like 7 days of 30 minutes. And now the interesting thing is I actually really like to go into the gym and have 20 minutes on the treadmill, you know? So I have like 7 days. So today I'm going to answer the question, what do I respect about me?
Mm.
What's really worthy about me is Tuesday, that sort of stuff. Then I can't add any more practices to what I already do. It has to be integrated in what I'm already engaged in. I already have the 1 hour check-in on my B word and stuff. So I can't add any of that stuff. Not add anything. It has to become one with what I'm already doing. So that's how I've created this self-worthy and self-respect practices.
And what does it look like at night when you turn on the miracle lens?
I just zoom in and look into me, everything that has occurred all day today.
Okay.
What aspect of my worthiness got further enriched? Is there anything I want to acknowledge myself for what has occurred today? You know? So I land up really what you're doing before you go to bed, you're by asking this question, you're really counting your blessings.
Okay.
And what is the consequence of counting your blessings? You enter a state of bliss.
Thank you.
And the funny thing, Sarah, is I also have these long haul flights, right?
Mm.
And I also engage in this practice in the long haul flights sometimes. Not throughout the flight, but I'll have a segment of it, you know, at that time. And I think I shared in one of my earlier sessions, I had this flight from Rome to Dubai, and I just started my health journey, and I've got a health coach. And they are like, they can't get their head around how little I sleep, right? So 2.5 hours has had to become 4 hours. Um, it's like, okay, fine. She says to me, I'm so proud of you. Yesterday you did 7 hours of sleep. I'm so proud of you. I said, you know what? I was flying back from Rome. I was sitting upright,
Mhm.
but I was engaged in these practices. So she said, well, a lot of your 7 hours was deep sleep. Well, that's beautiful, right? But that is what was occurring. So normally in this health regime, the doctor will come on if I'm not working on one aspect of my things that affect your metabolic rate, and sleep is the one that is still a truant, if you like. She's saying I'm only not activating that part of our system because your deep sleep proportion is most of what your time is. A lot of your time is actually deep sleep. So we know that your cells are rested.
Mm.
Well, it's coming from these practices. Remember, in the human miracle, I talked about like 2 hours before you go to bed, you start really winding down.
Yes, I started doing that thanks to you.
Yeah. So these are all beautiful practices to wind down, you know, and what a beautiful way to go into bed, wherever you are. Again, I'm always looking for stuff that is not dependent on other people doing anything. And I can do it even if the lights are switched on and there are other people in the room or they are talking and it's time for me to go into my practices. I still do it. I can still do it. The big thing was if you get belittling, shaming, all of those they are corrosions of dignity. And you belittle someone else thinking that you're actually gaslighting them. You're not. It's actually coming back at you.
Mm-hmm.
You're just gaslighting yourself. You cannot say anything to anyone without saying it to yourself. So you may as well just share words of worthiness of others.
Mm-hmm.
And if there are people that you don't want to engage with, or you feel they really spark up a negative charge, acknowledge that. And you still don't need to be saying anything negative to them because all you're doing is saying it to yourself. Why do I need to belittle myself? It's like, okay, I don't particularly like being in this person's company, so I will not. That's it.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Thank
Thank
you.
you for asking these questions.
Thank you.
I mean, I really love these portals of Age of Brilliance. So amazing.
Mm.
Every time, it's so much I learn from each one. Okay, we'll go into anchor number 6. Anchor number 6 is also the consequence of embodiment, and it is also one that anchors embodiment, and that is stillness. Why is this an anchor? It is in stillness that embodiment deepens. Noise is what unmoors this anchor. Noise could be the noise of your overthinking, your overanalysis. And Sarah, this is something that you may want to just look at, because that unmoors the anchor. And you can imagine if you have a boat that you have anchored and the anchor by itself is unmoored, and you're busily doing what you were going to do on the boat once the boat is anchored, and suddenly you're in the middle of the sea, Not a good, quite a shocking experience, which is why people feel lost. People feel overwhelmed. There's some noise that you have allowed in your space that is unmooring you. Who does it impact? And it impacts your own clarity. It impacts your connection to your intuition. And it impacts your creativity. So what can you do to integrate stillness? Daily stillness moments, even if it is just 5 minutes. Remember, the yummiest thing about stillness is you don't have to do anything about it. It is so within you. You can be in the midst of lots of people and be in a state of stillness. A great way to practice stillness is, for me, it is chopping, actually, chopping vegetables. I was trained by a macrobiotic cook at one point. And the beauty of the Japanese macrobiotic way of cooking is they take such care and pride in how they chop their vegetables. The flavors of a carrot chopped a certain way are quite different than if it's chopped another way. So that's how I began with stillness, by the way, Now I have a complete mastery of it. I feel very blessed. And I will be guided at some point to start doing stillness retreats where people just come in and experience stillness. I'm about to do a 3-day one as a private one with someone who's doing embodied enlightenment with me. I will be in very, very busy locations for this person to experience stillness. The amazing thing about stillness is stillness anchors you in your presence. It's one of those where you do this one thing, there are 4 other anchors that get activated instantly. When you're in a state of stillness, you're in a state of isness. You can experience everything and not necessarily feel opinionated about anything. Your mind is in an integrated state.
Manu, can I ask you, just comes to me because sometimes I sit in contemplation, but that is not necessarily stillness.
Yeah, it's not stillness.
That's not stillness, is it?
It's
I
a, it's
thought
a,
it was, but
yeah, it's a very active choice. In stillness, like literally the world goes by and you're just observing, no opinions, no thoughts. And it's like you're just observing, this is occurring and that's occurring. I do believe the magic of yesterday that as it unfolded was stillness, Certainly I was in a state of complete stillness throughout. And therefore it was like, wow, how much better can it get? And even in asking that question, there was stillness. As opposed to, you go to the universe, show it to me. I wasn't even doing that.
so is it something like, let's say, staring at the river and just kind of
You
going,
allow yourself to be. There is no have to.
yeah.
There is no have to at all. I could be on the phone, I live right next to the canal here, and now the weather is improved. So going on a walk on the canal is wonderful. And I often, as often as I can, I'll go early in the morning. So I get all that vitamin D yumminess. And there are times my morning can be quite busy, So there are times where I'm on a phone call and I could be on the phone call. And I'll just stand there by the railing looking away from the canal. It's like you feel the feel of feelings and you can be just fully present. This is a really big one, so I don't want to rush it. We are halfway through stillness and we have gone past our time, you know. So I'm going to continue with stillness next week because this is a
Okay.
really big one. and a very important part of embodiment.
Okay.
Okay. So do you want to just take over and summarize and conclude our session?
Oh, wow. To be in stillness. For me, I'm really in that state of wanting, and you've given us the clues and access to embodiment. And I'm going to reflect on when I felt embodiment in my life, but I'm even more curious. I think this has created a curiosity for all of us. Really challenging, well, I don't know, challenging ourselves or being present to when we are actually in embodiment or not. I mean, I can't at this moment remember. I know I've been in embodiment, but now I'm much more, I really want to it feels so yummy to be in
Yeah, well,
that. And it feels like part of flow.
I can share with you, Sarah, where you would have been an embodiment when you were doing Bikram yoga. You can't do anything else.
Yes.
Simply embody every experience of what's going on there.
Yes. 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 Which
You know?
maybe is why I'm so passionate about it.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, it's still one of my favorite yoga practices.
But then the question is, how do I bring that? I don't feel, at least in the last,
Well, that's why I'm teaching you these anchors. Each one
yes.
of you
Thank you.
has the access to do that.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. Thank you, everyone. Have
Thank you.
a great weekend and wonderful anchoring and celebration of Ashtalakshmi, the 8 facets of Lakshmi. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Namaskar. Thank you.
I declare our session complete. Thank you.